Hey everybody, instead of doing a regular podcast episode this week, we're out here at Jeff's property while we're burning. We didn't get a chance to do an episode last night from the store like I had originally planned on. That will be opening soon. We got everything ready to go there. We will probably do an episode, maybe not next week, but the week after that from the store, so you guys get to see all that. And I've got a little bit of video from that I'll probably put in here so you guys can look at that and see what we got going. Still got new stuff coming in all the time too, so filling shelves and keeping stuff rotating in and out. But today, like I said, we're on Jeff's property. We're doing our burn. This was the right weather to do it finally. We did get some rain earlier this week, so it's a little wet, which actually helps us out because most of the switchgrass stuff dries out pretty quick. So it kept us from having to worry too much about the fire getting out of control. We got some natural breaks around us. We got all the right equipment we need. Obviously, we notified the fire department. I'm in the fire department, Dad's the chief, so we've got all our T's crossed and I's dotted, so everything like that we always talk about on burning stuff. But our goal for this is to get it where we can disc it, bring all those new weeds up and grass seed, disc them under again and kill them that way rather than spraying a bunch of glyphosate on it or 2,4-D, mostly just because of the cost effectiveness of it with the price of everything going up. So it's just one way you can do it. And for this specific property, I'll bring Jeff on in a minute and get some other video, and we'll get him to talk about what exactly we're going to do here. And then we're going to do some switchgrass on the outside, some corn for screening, some beans, some clover and chicory, and then maybe some other mixes in there as well, like we talked about before. So I'm sure you guys have heard that to no end on the podcast about what we're going to do with this property. So at least you can see it now. We'll get him to walk you through exactly what we're going to do. But what I wanted to talk about today for the episode was, and she's giving me a funny look. My fire's getting going a little bit over there, as you can see. Finally burning the way we want to. But what I was saying, for this week's episode, I want to get into food plot mixes because it's the time of year where you're going to be starting to think about what you want to put down, if you're going to do anything in the spring, if you're going to do anything in the fall. Even now is the time to get preparations done for your plots that you're going to plant in the fall. So, like I said, here, we're going to do a lot of clover and chicory, which we actually have back in the woods on a logging trail as well. And we really like that blend. If you're going to plant something that's going to be there all year round, perennials, clover and chicory is a really good way to go. The deer like it. It's there through most of the winter, and it provides a ton of protein for them, green digestive forage that they can use. And really a big reason why we're doing it here is because it's a personal preference thing for Jeff, for one reason. Another reason is we've had it here before and we've had success with it. So another blend though I really like, and I'm kind of going more this way all the time, is doing the fall stuff with the brassicas, the radishes, the turnips, that kind of thing. You can plant those in the fall. And why I like those so much is the biggest problem you have as a deer hunter is when the fall rolls around and the farmers get all their crops out, you don't have any food left for the deer. Late winter, even that clover and chicory sometimes starts to die if we do have a harsh winter. If you've got a brassica plot, if you've got the radishes, turnips, and stuff like that in it, that's going to be green all through the winter time. The deer are really going to hammer in on that stuff. And that is where you can be a deer manager during the deer season. So you can get them in there when they have nowhere else to be. They're going to flock to your food plot because you still have that green food source for them. And then you can decide which deer you need to take out, advance those deer to the next age class, because they're going to be on your property when it's time to hunt them, because that's where the food's at. Obviously the deer need three things: food, cover, and water. So if you've got the cover, even if you don't have the cover, if you got the food, the deer are going to be there at some point, you know, in that late fall when all the crops are out and they're looking for more food. So like I said, some things we like, oats, wheat, and rye are also good. What I'll do on a lot of my plots is I'll take and split it in half. Half of the plot I'll do like winter wheat. A lot of guys like winter rye. A lot of guys like forage oats. Forage oats are actually one of the more preferred of those three for deer. But if you don't have those in your area, but you do have winter wheat, the deer are going to hit the winter wheat just as hard as they would the oats, because it's not like they're choosing one or the other. It's what's available. So, and it's a little bit cheaper too. So cost effective is going to be a big thing, especially this year, like we talked about before. So I'll do half a plot in some winter wheat, and then the other half of the plot I'll do in forage kale, rape, turnips, purple top turnips, white radish. And there's different kind of blends you can get into with doing that, poundage wise. You can kind of experiment with that and find out what you like. Obviously soybeans are a good one to mix into that if you can do that. And even though there's some around, if you have those in the late winter as well, after the farmers have got all theirs out, the deer are going to hammer those too. So you can mix some soybeans in with your mix as well. Some winter peas, that's another really good one for the late season. And I'll talk a little bit more when we get into the fall about exact blends, ratios of seed to what seed to put in there, what's going to be the most effective. So this fall I'll talk more about what exactly we're going to be planting as far as how many pounds of what seed per acre in the plot we're going to be doing and stuff like that. But while it's springtime, the biggest thing we like, and like I said we're going to do here, is that clover and chicory stuff. So that's a really good year-round. You can plant it from anywhere from mid-April to mid-May. It's not a calendar kind of thing. A lot of guys will plant just by the calendar. You want to plant by the season. So if you're going to get rain coming in and you've had good weather to do it, go ahead and get that seed in the ground, even if it's a little early. If you don't get good weather until June, you can wait until the early part of June and plant it as well. Plant based on the season more so than the calendar, but that's kind of what I wanted to go over. I know I'm kind of keeping it short since we're out here and it's cold and our cameraman's freezing. So we'll get some more video of the fire over here to put on for you guys, and then I'll get Jeff to talk about exactly what our plan is for here, and I'll get him the microphone and we'll talk to him for a minute. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so Jeff, just kind of tell us what our plan is for this. Like I said, it kind of went through why we're doing the burn to kind of help with the cost effectiveness of not having to spray it as much this spring. But talk about what we're going to be planting here as far as the screening goes, just letting the switchgrass come back, and then on the inside of that as far as what we're doing for actual food and why we're kind of doing what we're doing.
Okay, well the plan is we're going to put along the east side and definitely along the road, we're going to plant corn. I'd probably plant about 6 or 8 rows of corn to keep them from, give them food, but also hide them from the road, people driving by. Then we're going to let some switchgrass grow up.
Hey, Marley.
Back over here to the west, we'll probably plant some soybeans for food, because it's not just all clover. And then here in the middle, then we're going to have probably a good acre plot of clover and chicory. And the reason, you know, give them some food to eat, give them a reason to kind of come in and hang out and feel safe, you know, from the road and of course the house and all that stuff.
And all the dogs, we can kind of screen them from them, as you can hear.
Yeah, well, you know, but they're caged in, so
yeah,
deer are used to them.
But, why, like, you know, the clover and chicory, I talked about why we kind of like it, but the plan for here, now obviously this is not going to be so much of a destination field, so I mean, what are your thoughts on why we're doing the clover and chicory? Is it a palatability thing, just what the deer like? I know you've had it here before and they just seem to like it better than anything else in this particular area.
Before, where I had this, I had clover and chicory here in the middle and had corn planted along the road, just like what we're planning on doing now. And the does especially would come in with their fawns of an evening, and they'd bed down out here at night and just eat and stuff. And so it gives them a little bit extra besides the browse that's in the timber. Kind of gives them a reason to just kind of hang around a little bit and feel comfortable, you know. Then also in the fall, if the does are here, the bucks are back on the creek and stuff, they know that, and they'll come through and check the deer and check the plot, and they'll graze through it of a night too, where they feel safe. So,
and you know, one of the things that some guys on certain properties want to stay away from having food in the summer and drawing in too many does. Where we're at here, our biggest draw for the bucks is the does. So if we can pull does in here and keep them in here safe, absolutely, from November 1st to November 25th, even later, it's going to be good for us, more than it would be having that late food source like I talked about a minute ago that we'll do on some other properties. Our biggest draw for the bucks is going to be the does, not necessarily that food in the fall. So it doesn't hurt us to have that here all year.
No, and you know, where we're in a farming rural community here, you know, the bucks can hang out in the bean fields and cornfields and whatever, and you know, so there's all kinds of food around here for them. But you know, if you can get your does grouped in, we don't have a big number of does, deer population in this area right now, so if you can kind of get them and concentrate on certain areas, well then your bucks will come to them in the fall, you know.
And there is an aspect of the fall food even on here too, though, because like we plant those beans, even after the farmers get theirs out, they'll still be in here hammering what we
we'll leave them here. We're going to leave the corn and beans standing all winter long, and so even in the winter time, you know, they'll have availability for a food source, carbs and protein for the beans and stuff. So
so that's kind of what we got going on here, what we're going to plant, why we're going to plant it. Now we'll move on with, I'll get some video of the fire that we can throw in here, and then that'll kind of be it for today's episode. Probably I think we got some drone footage that'll be pretty good of this. And as we go along, we'll keep you guys up to date on what we're doing. We'll shoot some more video out here. If the audio is not great right now, I apologize because I don't have a mic on, so I'm kind of using off Jeff's with the dogs barking. Hopefully that's not too big a distraction. I don't think it'd be too bad, but we'll keep you guys up to date on it. Like I said, just wanted to get out here since we didn't get a regular episode in, and because we've been talking about this property for months. So you guys can see it now, keep up with us what we're doing, and we might do some experimenting on here too. You know, if something doesn't work out, we may decide to throw something different, and we'll just see. You guys kind of come along with us and see what goes on out here.
This isn't, you know, this is strictly what we're going to do. You know, this is just kind of something that we can do and play around with, and maybe apply it to our clients' food plots. You know, and we see what works and what don't, and go from there.
Yep, absolutely. So that's what we got going on. Thanks for watching, guys. Of course, we're going to be running some supplements and stuff out here too, like our buddies at Rax Supplements, Rax Big Game Supplements. So you can use our discount code. I'll put that up on the screen for you. Don't forget about those guys. The veteran-owned company out of Nebraska. They've got a lot of good options for feed. It's specified for whitetails, so go check them out. Use that discount code. You'll help us out too if you want to support. Of course, always subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where you're going to be able to keep up with this stuff at. You'll get notifications when the videos come out, so hit the notification bell on that. Follow us on Spotify, leave us a review. If you ever have any questions, go ahead and ask. Facebook at Ridge Hunter Outdoors, Instagram at Ridge Hunter OD. We'll post pictures of it as well. So, and if you guys ever have any questions, like I said, message us through there. And then ridgehunteroutdoors.com if you need food plot seed and anything like that. So that's what we got going. That's kind of the episode for this week, and we'll try to get you guys another one on next week. Hopefully it'll be video as well. We'll just have to see how it all works out. But thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.